Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to be reading about who is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Probably one of the most famous people on Earth. Well, actually, definitely the most famous people on Earth. So I'm going to be reading this book about Dwayne "Rock" Johnson. Who is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Who is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Dwayne Johnson stands on the arm of a huge crane, hundreds of feet above a busy city street. In front of him, a skyscraper is on fire. He needs to get inside that burning building. He needs to get inside that burning building. His family is in there, held captive by an armored villains. Behind him, a group of men race to stop him. There is only one thing to do: jump. Bullets ping everywhere around him as Dwayne sprints toward the end of the crane. When he reaches it, he leaps. Arms wild, milling, legs churning in midair. He plummets towards his goal in an open window in the side of the building. His powerful, muscular body smashes into the glass wall as his mighty hands grip the window ledge. Can he hold on? He can. Dwayne climbs over broken glass to reach inside the building. The director yells, "Cut!" The scene of a movie Skyscraper was over. Dwayne stood up with a huge grin on his face. He just filmed another amazing action movie moment. Dozens that have made him the biggest movie star on the planet. In more than 20 huge popular films, Dwayne has used his oversized muscles and personality that is bigger to thrill and to entertain fans. A former pro wrestling star known as The Rock, Dwayne worked hard to become an actor. His inspiring story and constantly positive attitude have made him an international hero. More than 20 million people follow his Instagram feed, where he shares details of his life and some of his wisdom with the world. Dwayne believes the road to success and greatness is paved with hard work. Chase your greatness. Chapter 1. Just Plain Dwayne. Dwayne Johnson was born in Hayward, California on May 2nd, 1972. When Dwayne was a baby, he and his family moved often. By the time Dwayne was in kindergarten, he had lived in 5 different states. The family moved often because Dwayne's father, Rocky, was a professional wrestler and took his family with him as he traveled from event to event. Rocky had met his wife, Ada, when he wrestled with her father, Peter Maivia, who was also a professional wrestler. Ada's full name was Fia Maleta Fitis Manu Mavia. Her family came from the Pacific islands of Samoa and Hawaii. Peter had won championships in Hawaii in the World Wrestling Federation, WWF. The biggest organization in sport. The WWF put on events all over the United States, attracting huge audiences. WWF wrestlers were big personalities, great showmen and women, and powerful athletes. They were also entertainers. When Dwayne was about 9, the family lived in Hawaii, where Rocky wrestled, and Ata was able to spend the time with her father and her large Samoan family. Dwayne learned a lot about his heritage on the island. He saw his grandfather, large Samoan tattoos. He also watched the respect of Peter Maivia had in the wrestling community. Peter died of cancer in 1982, and Dwayne was among thousands who attended his grandfather's funeral. Rocky's career kept the family moving place to place. Before he reached high school, Dwayne's family lived in 14 different states. It was difficult for Dwayne to change schools so often. He was having to find new friends. Finding into a new place over and over was difficult. Dwayne was friendly and outgoing, but he was also big, very big, which made him stand out even more. He was well over 6 feet tall in junior high and was very strong like Rocky. In many of his new schools, other big students wanted to challenge him. I always knew the kid, so that I was always the new kid, so that made me a target, he says. During a period when the family was back in Hawaii, Dwayne got into real trouble. He and some teenagers were caught stealing. He was arrested several times. It was when I was in ninth grade. I was doing stupid stuff, and the cops came into my class to arrest me. I was humiliated more than anything. Dwayne and his parents left Hawaii again not long after and settled in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. For Dwayne's second year in high school, not long after he arrived, Dwayne was caught by a teacher named Jody Quick using the bathroom in the teacher's lounge. Dwayne later said, "That was the day that changed everything." Mr. Quick was the school's football coach. After Dwayne apologized the next day, Mr. Quick asked him to join the football team. Chapter 2. Hurricane Dwayne. With Mr. Quick and others as his coaches, Dwayne soon became a high school football star. He was 6 feet 4 inches and weighed 230 pounds. He had very broad shoulders and was extremely fast for a person of his size. As a junior, he played tight end and defensive end. Thanks to his outgoing personality, Dwayne was also named a team captain. In his senior year, he was named an All-American while making 14 sacks and more than 100 tackles. Dwayne, throughout that University of Miami thought that the University of Miami would be a good place for him to play. The Miami Hurricanes were one of the top teams in the country. They also played a lot of personality and attitude, which Dwayne liked. He also contacted Miami's coaches by calling them himself. He was a very unusual move. Most schools scouted players, but Dwayne chose the university he was interested in and contacted them. He was interested in the coaches were impressed by Dwayne's confidence and by his skill. In February 1989, he signed up to play football for the Hurricanes. College was a big change for Dwayne. He was surrounded by athletes who had been the best in their own town. Suddenly, even though he had grown 6 feet 5 inches and 235 pounds, he was not the biggest guy in the field anymore. Many teammates were bigger than Dwayne. They were all as confident as he was. He had to work harder than ever, practicing twice a day in the summer before 1989 season and lifting weights every day. Unfortunately, 10 days before the first game, he suffered a bad shoulder injury while making a tackle in practice. He had shoulder surgery and missed the entire season. For an active person like Dwayne, it was a difficult time. He was away from home and could only get support from his parents by phone. He sulked at missing football and didn't attend classes. In the summer, the football team put him on the probation because he was failing. Humiliating. Absolutely, Dwayne remembered. I had let my parents down, and I had let my teammates and coach down. I had let myself down. While he was recovering from his injury and improving his grades, Dwayne met Danny Garcia. She was a student at Miami studying business. Danny introduced herself to Dwayne at a nightclub. Dwayne and Danny started dating, but her parents were not happy. They were from Cuba and did not approve of Dwayne because his father was black. It would be a long time before they accepted Dwayne. The next year, Dwayne's grades improved, and he was back in the football team by the start of the 1991 season. The Hurricanes went undefeated. With Dwayne at the defensive end, the Hurricanes beat Nebraska 22-0 in the Orange Bowl, and were named the top-ranking college team in the nation, along with the Washington Huskies. Dwayne played 2 more seasons at Miami. As a senior, he suffered a painful back injury, but he kept playing. After he graduated, he was disappointed that no team for the National Football League signed him. So Dwayne went to play California Football League (CFL) for Calgary Stampeders. Instead of making millions in the NFL, he hoped he was paid $250 a week. But Dwayne's time in Canada was short. Though he had practiced with the team for 2 months, the Stampeders cut him from the team before they even played in the game. Dwayne was at a low point, and his dream of a pro football career was over. He had just $7 in his wallet, and Danny's parents still did not accept him. It was time for a new dream, so he looked into the family business. Dwayne asked Rocky to train him to become a pro wrestler. Chapter 3. The Birth of the Rock. Dwayne moved to Tampa, Florida, to be near his father and started training for a career as a wrestler. Danny stayed in Miami, where she had found a job. To support himself as he learned to wrestle, Dwayne worked on as a personal trainer. He found that he was very good at inspiring people to work hard and get in shape. He used his own story as an example, talking about how he bounced back from injuries and disappointments. He soon was one of the most popular trainers at the gym. When his work days was over, he headed to the wrestling ring, where Rocky showed him all the right moves. Wrestlers in the WWF need to be able to do all their moves safely, but also with style and flair. Rocky showed Dwayne headlocks and lifts. He taught him how to lock up or start a match, and how to fall correctly when thrown. They participated in drop kicks, and one wrestler leaps to the kick in the other in the chest, often with both feet. Rocky taught Dwayne how to spot or plan a series of moves with another wrestler. Early in his training, Dwayne felt that he was on the right path. I knew in my heart I had found my calling. I could not have been more certain, he later said. He called Danny to let her know how happy he was. To move from practice to the real thing, Dwayne repeated that what he had done to find his college football home. He got on the phone. He called Pat Patterson, a wrestling trainer for the WWF. Pat had been a tag team partner with Rocky and met Dwayne years earlier. Pat remembers Rocky's son and agreed to watch him work out. Danny came up to Tampa for the workout, along with Dwayne's mom, Ada. Rocky and Dwayne performed in the ring for Pat. At one point, Dwayne fell to the mat, holding his back and screaming in pain. Danny shouted for the men to stop. Dwayne got up easily, and he explained to her that he was just acting. In wrestling language, he was selling. Not only was Dwayne a great athlete, he was becoming a great showsman too. The physical action of professional wrestling is very real, with high-trained athletes jumping, lifting, grabbing, and throwing each other. People can and do get injured sometimes, but the punches don't always hurt as much as they seem to. The WWF recognized Danny's talent and signed him to a contract in 1996. If he made it to the top level, he could be paid $150,000. It was a huge increase from his pro football earnings. Dwayne still had to work hard to earn that much. He started wrestling in a lower level group called the United States Wrestling Association. It was based in Memphis, Tennessee. Once again, what are you doing? Once again, Dwayne was on the road. He performed all over the South with the USWA for several months, wrestling in school gyms, barns, and recreation centers in front of cheering crowds. With the USWA, Dwayne created his first wrestling character, Flex Cavana, a name he made up. After 6 months with the USWA, Dwayne wrestled in his first WWF event in November 16, 1996. On that day, he became the first wrestler to ever follow his father and grandfather to the WWF. The company's owner, Vince McMahon, decided Dwayne's character could be called Rocky Maivia to honor Dwayne's family legacy. Using the name, Dwayne performed at New York City's Square Madison Garden, one of the most famous sport arenas in the world. He won his first match, and 22,000 people chanted his new name. That moment changed my life, Dwayne remembered. This marked the beginning of his rapid rise in the sport. Dwayne traveled around the world wrestling in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, as well as across the United States. By 1997, at 25 years old, Dwayne had become the youngest wrestler to win the international WWF title, the sport's second highest championship. WWF wrestlers often talk to the fans during matches. They also do a lot of video interviews for the WWF TV shows. Dwayne's confident personality and speaking skills shined in these moments. In the ring, his huge muscles and athletic talent also made him stand out. His success made his next move easier. Dwayne told Danny's parents that he wanted to marry her by finally letting Dwayne in person. After he became a WWF star, Danny's parents gave their approval. Dwayne and Danny were married on May 3rd, 1997, in a ceremony that combined both their Samoan and Cuban heritages. Later that year, Dwayne and the WWF made a big change to his character wrestling style. Up to the point, Rocky Maivia had been a heroic character known in wrestling as good as babyface or just a face. A face is a good guy. Dwayne and the WWF decided to turn Rocky Maivia into what is known a heel, a classic bad guy. Fans soon loved Rocky Maivia. Dwayne ate it up, talking to the microphone to trade insults with the crowd or his opponents. As a heel, Dwayne became more popular than ever. Then, in the late 1997, he changed his name once again. While challenging champion Stone Cold Stephen Austin to a match, he ended up in a speech saying, "Your bottom line will say, Stone Cold has been." Compliments of The Rock. For the next 2 years, wrestling as The Rock, Dwayne became the biggest star in the WWF. Fans loved moves like The Rock Bottom. He slammed his opponents to the mats on their backs. He was nicknamed the People's Champion. He invented the People's Elbow. In that move, Dwayne leaped up, smashing his elbow into the opponent. He also created the People's Eyebrow, a crowd-pleasing facial expression. During performance, he would yell out his most well-known phrases that include, "Can you smell what The Rock has been cooking?" and "You know your role and shut your mouth," and "Time to take you to the SmackDown Hotel." In November 1998, The Rock won his first WWF Championship, the highest award in the sport. When he started training to become a wrestler, Dwayne had only $7 in his pocket. In 1998, he was making more than $400,000 a year. In 1999, Dwayne bought his parents a house. It was the first one they ever owned in more than 20 years of marriage. Chapter 4, From the Ring to the Screen. As successful as Dwayne was in the WWF, he knew he could not wrestle forever, so he looked for other ways to adapt his popularity and his skills as an entertainer. In 1999, he wrote a book called The Rock Says, a best-selling autobiography. He was also offered small acting roles on TV shows, mostly just playing himself. But on March 8, 2002, when he hosted the Saturday Night Live SNL, a live comedy show, Dwayne's flair for entertaining reached an even bigger audience than the WWF had ever had. On the SNL stage, Dwayne's huge smile and comfortable style impressed many people who were watching. Movie producers saw how well he did and took notice. "We were always looking for emerging talents," said Mary's parent, president of production for Universal Studios, "and The Rock is definitely emerging. You can't take your eyes off him on the screen." Dwayne approached acting just as he had football and wrestling. He wanted to learn, so he worked with acting coaches. He also met with movie producers and directors to learn how films were made. I really wanted to be a sponge, he said later. He didn't care if he was overwhelming. As Dwayne's film career grew, so did his family. While living near Miami in 2001, Dwayne and Danny had a daughter named Simone. Soon, all his hard work and training paid off. Dwayne was cast as an ancient warrior named the Scorpion King in the movie called The Mummy's Return. Dwayne did so well in the role that a new movie was written just for his character. Dwayne set a record by earning $55 million for his first starring role. The Scorpion King came out in 2002. Dwayne was on his way to becoming a hero in the whole new world, the movies. In 2004, he celebrated another family milestone on a visit to Samoa. He was given an honorary Samoan name. At the ceremony, the head of the Samoan state, Malitoa Tanumafili II, said, "From this day onward, you will carry the title Suuli, Sayuli, the son of Malitoa. Alo Malitoa. You will leave your boyish ways behind you. You are now Chief Matai of the Lamoi Malitoi Toa family, a chief of Samoa. Sayului was not only his name changed, he also became Dwayne once again. In 2006, he asked people in the media to use his real name and not his wrestling name. "I just want to be known as Dwayne Johnson and not The Rock." With all of his success, Dwayne began earning more money. He wanted to help people in need, so he and Danny started the DJ Rock Foundation. They help children and families struggling with serious illness. In 2006, Dwayne and Danny also gave $2 million to the University of Miami in thanks for helping him get his start. In 2008, his marriage to Danny ended. They continued to be friends and business partners. However, Danny became Dwayne's agent, which means she arranged all his movie roles and business deals. They formed a new company to make their own movies and TV shows. They called it $7 Production to remember how far they had come from the day when Dwayne was only $7 after leaving the CFL. The tattoos. Tattoos were an important part of Samoan culture. The word tattoo is from the Polynesian word tattoo. In 2003, Dwayne honored his Samoan roots by getting a large tattoo. What the heck? Oh. A design called Pia covers Dwayne's left shoulder and part of his back and left arm. The symbols of Pia represent the parts of a person's life. A large tattoo over Dwayne's heart represents his warrior spirit. Coconut leaves stand for his role as a chief. A tortoise shell on his arm represents is supposed to keep evil spirits away. Amen. Another section of the tattoo contains 3 parts that stand for connection among Dwayne, Danny, and Simon. A pair of tattooed eyes called Omata Ilua show that represents his ancestors that are watching out for him. Dwayne also had a large bull design tattoo on his right arm. He says that it shows details of his personal history. Chapter 5. The biggest movie star. As Dwayne was offered more and more movie roles, he returned to the skills and discipline that had helped him from excel in football and wrestling. Dwayne started as an athlete, so he used to be coached and pushed, said movie director Rawson Marshall Thurber. He responds, "Really well to do that. He will give you 100 takes attempts if you want." Dwayne was very aware of maintaining his reputation. He won't accept roles that he thinks are too dark. That is, he won't play characters who are really awful, tough, Tough, powerful, intense. Yes, real bad guys. Not for Dwayne. On, on and off the screen, he has the reputation as one of those nicest people on the movie business. Always ready with a smile and famous raised eyebrow. Because he is prepared to do his homework for a role, Dwayne is willing to work hard, even before shooting begins on movie set. His role on San Andreas, an action movie about an earthquake rescue, he learned to slide down a rope from a hovering helicopter. To play Hercules, he gained weight and muscle to get up to 260 pounds. Fans have responded to his hard work in a big way. Dwayne has more than 200 million followers on Instagram, one of the world's highest totals. He posts videos of workouts, meals, fans, and family. In 2011, Dwayne took a role as a federal agent, Luke Hobbs, in the Fast 5 movie, the fifth film in the popular Fast and Furious series, one of the biggest films of all time. Dwayne then combined his role in the 6th, 7th, and 8th films in the series. In 2011 to 2013, Dwayne returned to wrestling for a series of matches against John Cena, a popular wrestler who had taken over from The Rock's as the sport's biggest star. By this time, the WWF had changed its name to the World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE. Fans were excited to see former champ take on the new champ. In the early 2013, Dwayne, at 40 years old, Dwayne, at 40 years old, defeated another champion, CM Punk, to become the WWE champion for the first time in 10 years. Movies starring Dwayne Johnson in 2013 earned in more money in total than those of any other actor that year. The films included Fast and Furious 6, Pain and Gain, Empire State, G.I. Joe, Retaliation, and Snitch. He was a number one in movie star in the country. And then in 2015, Dwayne became a father again. He and his girlfriend, Lauren Hashian, had a daughter, Jasmine. Wanting to show that he was more than just an action movie star, Dwayne returned to host Saturday Night Live at the same year. He was funny as President The Rock, similar to the Hulk, Obama in one of his skits, and sang a song in another. Dwayne got another chance to sing in the 2016 animated Disney movie, Moana. The film tells the story of an adventurous teenager named Moana who's on the quest to save her people. Dwayne's role was the voice of Maui, a demigod who guides her on a quest. Maui has many tattoos, just like Dwayne Johnson and Peter Mavia. My character was partially inspired by my late grandfather, Dwayne said. In the movie, he sang the song You're Welcome for the film. Dwayne worked with composer Lin-Manuel Miranda to become Miranda to become an even better singer. Today, Dwayne says that more children ask him to sing the Maui song than ask him about The Rock's wrestling career. In 2020, a short video of him singing the tune of his third daughter, Tiana, born in 2018, was seen millions of times around the world. Despite his busy schedule, Dwayne works hard to help others. In 2016, $7 created Rock the Troops, a holiday concert for people serving in the U.S. military. Dwayne hosted also Flo Rida and Nick Jonas, among others, performed. In 2019, Dwayne and Lauren were married in Hawaii. After the ceremony, Dwayne posted that he felt Pamoikia, blessed. Dwayne was also taking part in events for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which helps grant wishes to children battling serious illnesses. In 2018, for example, he welcomed Make-A-Wish visitors to the set of his movie Jungle Cruise. After giving them a tour of the set, He handed out gift bags of clothing, video games, movie tickets, and the Jungle Cruise toys. The kids say I inspire them, which is awesome, said Dwayne. But they have no idea how much they inspired me. Dwayne's recent big movies include Skyscraper and Jumanji. Welcome to the Jumanji, and its sequel in which he plays Dr. Xander Smolder Bravestone. His character from the Fast and Furious films starred in a spin-off movie called Hobbs and Shaw. In 2019, Dwayne was the highest paid movie star in the world. Dwayne and Seven Bucks had big plans for the future. They hope to produce Black Adam and a DC Comics action movie in which Dwayne will star. Dwayne is also looking on a movie in which he'll play the Hawaiian King Kamehameha and has helped create a television show for the NBC called Young Rock, based on his early life. In 2020, his daughter Simone announced that she was going to continue the family tradition as a wrestler. Meanwhile, Dwayne continues to act and inspire others. He has even mentioned running for president someday. According to Newsweek magazine's president, Dwayne is the third most popular person that people in the United States would like to run for the office. Also, Dwayne Johnson continues to be a big guy with an even bigger heart, looking to make a positive impact on the world. That is all for today. I hope you liked enjoying the video of me reading Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Sorry that if I stuttered a little too much. I haven't read this. This is my first time reading this book. I hope you liked it and thank you for watching. Bye.